Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Jazz.
How are you?
Yes, I can. Hi, Jazz.
Hello, I think I heard Jane and a few people out there.
Yes.
Good stuff. I see Nate. Thank you for your patience, everyone. We're going through a lot of stuff here. Brenda's gotten out of surgery, just so you know, and a lot of pain, but it went well. For those of you who don't know, she had emergency surgery on her spine. And so we have a lot of limited resources around here, but we still want to make sure that we get you guys some education. And so Nate has agreed to give us a quick 20 minutes on crowdfunding. For those of you who are going to be at the Inner Circle Mastermind, you'll get a full dose of him. And so I wanted to make sure that we were able to get something recorded because the revolution will not be televised, which means that an Inner Circle Mastermind will not be recorded. And so I wanted him to speak a little bit about entity structures and crowdfunding and fundraising. So you guys will not be able to attend the meeting, and we can record it, and then we could put it in the archive so you can look at it at later dates. Again, if you're not able to attend the Inner Circle Mastermind. Real quickly about that, it's going to be on September 14th through, I want to say, the 17th. The rooms in the house, the mansion, are all sold out. So if you have registered recently, we've secured your rooms. We'll get an itinerary out to you by the 1st of September with your room assignments. And if you have not secured your ticket yet, you're still welcome. We have rooms reserved at a hotel down the street, and then we'll have a car that will be able to transport you back and forth to the event. So it's going to be a very exciting and full. Nate, are you there?
Yeah, I'm in the studio, so it's we've got a little bit of a weird setup over here.
That's no problem. It's no problem. Thanks for there you go. I can see you. All right. So let's give him a good few minutes. Again, for those of you who don't know, Nate is a crowdfunding attorney. He's actually my attorney. So I've given you all of my Black Book resources. He has helped us put together and is still on our side with the Make Money Go to Heaven Fund. And so again, if you are at the Inner Circle Mastermind, you're going to have a great opportunity to kind of dive deeper into that, what it takes to get that done. But I want to cater this to a little bit about Nate. So if you don't mind introducing yourself and then give him a little basics about fundraising and then do some Q&A. But I know he has a hard stop in about 20 minutes, so let's take it on.
Well, sounds good to me. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm the managing attorney over here at Crowdfunding Lawyers. We are one of the largest, if not the largest, fund syndication investment law firms in the country, just by the sheer number of deals that we're doing and closing every single day. And within the last year alone, we've done over 400 funds and other investment projects. So when it comes to the ins and outs of how to make these private deals happen, there's no one better, at least in my humblest of opinions, to ask all those fun questions. And I absolutely love what Jasmine has put together between being the active investors, the passive investors, and all of the opportunities that Jasmine is here to educate y'all on. I'm truly grateful to be a little bit of a additional component to helping your dreams really come to fruition. Now, I was planning for something a little bit different, so I am going to ask Jasmine to pipe in with, I was going to talk more about and expecting people to be more focused on LLCs and entities and how they can really go to benefit an individual investor or deal maker rather than just the security side. But I really want to focus on what's going to be the most beneficial for those that are on the call right now. So with that, what would you suggest? Jasmine. All right, well, we will just go ahead and roll with what I had planned, and it is to dive a little bit deeper into limited liability companies. I am sharing my screen as well, so you'll be able to get the information on it. Oh, we will need access to share the screen. So hopefully Jasmine is still in and around to be able to do that. And if not.
Yep, I'm right here.
All right, we need access to share some screens. I was going to talk all about the LLCs and what I thought this was going to be about.
Gotcha.
I was saying that I'm happy to talk about kind of the securities and raising capital as well. But at least from what I was seeing being marketed, I'm all ready to talk through the LLCs and really how it can work with the active, the passive, and a lot of your attendees and what the benefits may be. Perfect.
Yep. We might spitball at the end if people have questions, but take it from here. Love it.
Okay. And if you could provide access to the second Nate Dodson, because I'm calling in on one side with me, the other side with the shared screen so that we can see everything all at once.
Does that work?
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, we are going to talk about LLCs and a little bit of the simplicity of it all. And, you know, it's using an entity for your investing, whether you're an active investor, a passive investor, a real estate investor, or a note investor. At the end of the day, it makes sense to use an entity, not just because of the tax benefits of it, but really to be able to provide the protection for you. This is all about limited liability. And kind of bringing this up, it's because if you just start getting out there and start buying notes, start doing business without some sort of asset protective entity going on, whether you're a sole proprietor, if you just start going out and start doing business by yourself, you have unlimited liability if anything goes wrong. If you and a partner do the same thing, you both have unlimited liability if there's ever a problem, which if there's a lawsuit, they can take your house, your cars, your everything. Well, short of your homestead protections, but they can get at your family's assets. And that's a big issue. So the three ways to get around that, and I'm just going to touch on them. If you want to be buying notes, you want to be protected, your family to be protected, there's ways to structure it through limited partnerships. There's ways to structure it through corporations. And just so that you understand, with a partnership, you always have to have a couple of people involved. You can't have a partnership of one. It's just impossible. A corporation, it can be set up with one person, but there's other limitations that go along with being a corporation. With some of the issues being, it's just inflexible. And I'm sure you've heard about S-Corps. S-Corps are not a horrible thing to have, especially if it's just you owning it. But in terms of flexibility and being able to use an entity, a limited liability company is really the easiest way to get something formed, get something operating, where you're getting all the benefits of the being able to manage tax elections. Something that's really interesting about LLCs is that there's not a formal tax requirement. You can choose your category. So if it makes sense for you to be taxed as a corporation, you can choose for your LLC to be taxed as a corporation. If you need your LLC to be taxed as a partnership, you can elect for it to be taxed as a partnership. That's one of the biggest benefits of it. But at the end of the day, the really kind of shining issues that make life easier for you is the fact that when you're doing your investing, when you're buying notes, when you're hiring attorneys, when you're going through the foreclosure process, when you're collecting on the interest payments, by maintaining everything through this one entity, you're really simplifying your life Your bookkeeping, where you're not having to separate and divide it all out with your personal tax returns and your business expenses. You get the benefits of the standard deductions, including plus all of the business deductions of everything that you're doing. So from a tax perspective, the LLCs make sense because of the elections that you can take, as well as just smart bookkeeping and smart accounting for your own business. And like a corporation with an LLC, all stakeholders, all owners have limited liability protections. To kind of compare that to a limited partnership, with a limited partnership, you have a general partner and a limited partners. The general partner, it's kind of like being in a general partnership. You have unlimited liability, where the LLC, absolutely everybody's protected. When you're kind of setting one up, generally you'll have a manager. Sometimes it's called a manager managed or member managed. Anytime we set one up, and for yourself, always set it up as a manager managed LLC. It keeps things really simple. And then within the LLC operating agreement, you can divide and decide how profits and losses are allocated between yourself. And if you start bringing in investors or you start having partners come to the table, you can define what they receive and how they receive it. Since we're talking notes, and just to give you kind of a few helpful hints for how LLCs are structured normally with investors, I'm the biggest fan of there just being a profit split. It's usually anywhere between 70% to 80% of the profits going to investors, with the remaining 20 to 30% going to yourself as the management individually. And, you know, this is a little different than a lot of what you may have seen in the real estate world. And let me explain why I really prefer this type of a structure. With, well, the mortgage industry in general, we've got that floating interest rates. Right now, it's really high. A few years ago, it was really low. And with most real estate opportunities, we structure it with a preferred return, which is kind of like an interest rate. It's a fixed return that goes to investors, and then a profit share above that as well. Now, because of the general mortgage industry, you're seeing these interest rates go up and these interest rates go down. It can be very difficult to peg exactly what that preferred return rate should be. And that's where, if we just get away from not having a preferred return at all, just offering a little bit of a higher profit split, you can manage the risk of the consolidation or the lowering of the interest rates. And this comes from me doing these types of deals for 15, almost 20 years. And back around 2010, the interest rates were incredibly high. And we put together quite a few funds at that point that had a higher preferred return rate. Reason why? It was really easy to meet the investor expectations, plus have profit on top of that. A few years later, where they were getting a 15% hard money interest rate return, that got compressed down to a 8% interest rate return. All of a sudden, the management wasn't making any money. The investors weren't getting the returns that they were expecting, and nobody is happy. Literally, these deals started to implode. And a lot based on that prior experience, this is one of the big reasons that if you are bringing in investors, especially into notes and note buying, just agree on a profit split. And like I was saying, 70 to 80% is kind of the sweet spot for what works. So I do want to bring up something, and this would be more for your personal use of an entity. And I'm a fan of everybody using, we call it a series LLC. there's most of America now. It's about 20 different states you can organize these series LLCs in. And traditionally, you organize an LLC, you have all of these different assets that come into it. And then there's a lawsuit against one of the assets. Unfortunately, with the regular LLC, everything is at risk. That lawsuit can take whatever is owned by the LLC. Now, with the series, that allows for that lawsuit to go against that one asset or that one property, and it doesn't affect all of the other assets that are in different series. It's kind of like setting up a parent company with a whole bunch of subsidiary, smaller companies underneath it with protection between asset to asset. So if you are setting up an entity or an LLC for your own protection, definitely consider and talk to your attorney, whoever is helping you with it, about whether or not a series LLC will make sense to you. So kind of like what I was saying with the LLC itself, separate series are set up for separate assets. So if there is a lawsuit, it doesn't affect anything else. So, and Kennedy, you don't mind getting rid of this and putting up the screen so I can actually see everybody. And I did want to just kind of go high level through, here's what an LLC is and how to use it. I apologize that there wasn't a lot more time to go way more in depth with it, but time gets to be a little crazy and things fly by pretty fast. If you do have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Please just put your hands up. And until then, I actually have a guest, a good friend of mine,
no.
Good friend of Jasmine's.
He's doing it to me. I don't know. Here we go.
Absolutely. We got to bring up the man who I'm going to tell the story of Nashville.
No.
Oh yeah. So I go to Nashville, I'm going to a mortgage conference and, just meeting all kinds of people. Lo and behold, Jasmine shows up. She's got her own stand. She's out there with her pink hat. This guy that's sitting right here next to me gets her some pink boots. And we go and hit it on the town. We are going up and down Broadway and just having the time of our lives. And the guy comes all the way out from North Carolina to come and visit. So please allow me to introduce for everybody else, and hello again to Jasmine.
Hi, Napolitano. Yeah, I butchered it for real this time because you know what? You guys are suckers for this one. and since we're doing this, I'm not going to put it on camera, but I am here with my old friend Natasha. So we're all doing a lot of old school. She says hello to you guys.
Hey.
And yeah, man, good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm laughing because I finally got Nate to say my name the right way. And
you saved me. I didn't have to say his name. I can't get his name right for anything.
I get it right now.
Finally had him trained up to an hour ago.
And I would have completely butchered it with the Napolitini.
Stop it. You wish. So just so you guys know, for those of you who are aware of what happened, this is the gentleman who bought the pink boots that I showcased in Tennessee and which subsequently put me out of commissions for 30 days. So I wasn't ready to tell the story just yet. But yeah, Robert, they took me down.
Come on now. They can't take you down. Those boots were made for you. I don't know what they were doing on the shelf, but those were your boots.
My knees were not ready. That was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, Bruce. But thank you so much. Since we have the pleasure of having you, tell them a little bit about what you do, because I actually want to introduce you more to the community. And I think I just reached out to you 2 days ago about speaking more to the group. So do you mind?
Not at all. I mean, what would you like me to help shed light on? I mean, I'm here for you. I mean, anything I can do to help you guys.
Yeah, just let them know about your experience. I really want to just invite people to like you on Facebook. I'm sorry, on the LinkedIn platform, excuse me.
On LinkedIn, yeah.
Following, because he's giving some sage advice. This group is really about putting you in front of the right people that I have relationships with and can vouch for. And so this is one of them. And he's doing a lot of that high level stuff, but without me telling, to tell them a little bit about what you're doing and what you do with paper and what you offer, because people may be in line just like they are with Nate to use some of your services.
Yeah, so I run a fund buying distressed assets, notes, first, seconds, whatever lien, as long as I'm on title, properties, tax liens, judgments, all that stuff. I've been doing it for 9 years now. I'm one of the very few people that, if at all, you'll meet that that went into a bankruptcy at a certain net worth, and I actually came out at a higher net worth. Part of my story is I went through the subprime crisis at the top of my game, lost everything, went into a bankruptcy, kicked ass of the top of too big to fail banks, and came out with a nice big check. The banks paid all of my attorney's fees, all of my creditors, and I walked out with a big check, and I started my fund from there. And I've been kicking ass in this business ever since. And mostly because the people that I surround myself with, like Nate, with Jasmine, and other great people around. But I've been buying notes ever since. And the next venture that I've expanded into is buying abandoned life settlements or life insurance policies to act as a insurance hedge and to cover people's capital accounts that invest with us as well. All of this to the bigger picture of my mission here. All of this is to help all of us to get ahead of what leadership is doing to us today by the shadow taxes called inflation, by creating distortion and disruption in our leadership and our geopolitical realm. It screws up a lot of people to try and get clarity of where the future's going and where we should invest for our kids' future and stuff. So looking at this through the eyes of chaos, there's opportunity in chaos, and you're with a group here that's very good at finding opportunity in chaos and profiting in chaos so that we can outpace this erosion of our wealth called inflation and lack of leadership.
So for those of you guys who are in the Buyers Club, remember this guy's name, and we'll have him say it for you. But
Napolitano.
I actually know
The
how to
town
say
of
his
Napoli.
name. I just like to butcher because he gives me a hard time, and he's actually my favorite nemesis at this point. But
I knew I was on one of those lists. I didn't know it was on that list that I was on.
Yeah,
I knew
well,
it was on
now
top of
after-
Did you
after
not just
Tennessee,
hurt her? You ruined her knees.
like, dude, you don't have any
Listen,
idea
I'll
how bad it was.
keep
But
that conversation for a drink another day.
yeah, I was gonna say. With that said, I want you guys to keep his name at the forefront because we're gonna be bringing him in to do a lot of this Buyers Club asset management group that we're talking about. We've got these notes that just hit the desk that are 12.75 percenters, great pay histories, a lot of value added to them. And so things like that, that's what we're looking to take down and also provide the management group so we can, because those are the type of returns, especially if you get them at a discount, which we are getting, that are going to help you with this inflation conversation. So keep him in mind, because we're looking to join forces with him and take down some bigger tapes from 3 to 5 million or more. Thank you, gentlemen, so much.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
All right.
Was that her
so-
dismissing us?
I think so. It
What?
was like, y'all get out.
Seriously, right?
I do want, before you do leave, is let's give him one last opportunity on how to reach you. So let's start with Robert, if you can give him the contact information, your email and your phone number, if you so please. And then we'll end with the man.
So I'm helping anybody who wants to capture their tomorrow for their children. You can reach us at brilliant@capturingtomorrow.com, because that's exactly what we want everybody to become, brilliant@capturingtomorrow.com.
That's genius. That's genius. I love it.
And anytime you are looking to raise capital with investors, there's a lot of rules around it. There needs some making right. And that's where I come into play. You can reach me anytime at, well, you can always go to crowdfundinglawyers.net, or you can email me directly, Nate, N-A-T-E, at crowdfundinglawyers.net. I gotta say, I can't hear anything. My
Oh, well,
my headphone just went out.
I have the headphone on. I still hear anything.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
Do we
I
die?
had to put it on mute.
Oh, here we
I
go. Here we
got
go. Nice talking.
There's a few airplanes and trucks driving by right now, so it's loud. All right, but unless we have any questions from the audience, I do want to let these gentlemen go. So let's give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Otherwise, it looks like most of the people here will be at the mastermind meeting in a circle. And so, Robert, you are welcomed to attend if you have the
Well,
time. Otherwise, I
uh,
want to have you speaking next year for sure.
Okay, yeah, I just got to check the schedule. That's why I didn't respond to you yet because I think I'm a little tight at that time frame, but we'll talk.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
and I
looking
know I
forward
didn't
to
give
it.
you enough notice, but I'm giving you notice for the next one for sure.
Absolutely.
Doesn't look like we have any questions. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for your time today and sign off.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Thanks, Nate.
My pleasure.
Anytime.
Thank you, guys.